Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, Spartan Nation. It's now time for the state of college football with Matt Hladek from thespun.com. You love Matt. I love Matt. Everybody freaking loves Matt. He's just a lovable curmudgeon from thespun.com. We call him the godfather of gossip in Gotham. Matt Hladek. Matt, you've never been called a lovely curmudgeon, have you?
I have not. No, usually that's reserved for like the old crusty old guys. But hey, I'll take it.
By the way, today was National Hug a Dumbass Day. That's honest to God. That's honest to God the truth. I had a couple people send me it.
I guess that explains why my fiance gave me a hug before she left for work.
All right, buddy. Anybody that saw the Penn State-Michigan game, I think, walked away impressed with Michigan, but more impressed with the Penn State student section, and so was Kurt Herbstreit. Talk about that.
Yeah, Herbie's been everywhere in the country, and he constantly has a lot of praise for Penn State, Beaver Stadium, especially during the whiteout. And, during the game, at the end of the game, as they were wrapping up the win, he said it was the best student section in the country, best game out of the country. And he said the game they circle on their calendar every time they're given a shot to come here and broadcast, a primetime game from Happy Valley. And listen, I can't say he's wrong. It's every year the whiteout is one of the most fun things to see on television. Every year the fans in general bring it to those games, and the students in particular. So I think Herbie's on the right track there.
Michigan State is Penn State's favored at Michigan State by 6.5 Saturday. Does that seem a little low to you?
I'm wondering if part of that is there's two factors there, but one is the fact that Michigan State, they're thinking about their defense playing well at home, maybe keeping it close. And the other thing is Michigan State has a history of playing well against and beating Penn State, even when they're not, even when they're the underdogs. So I think that's kind of where that line is coming from. If I had to pick, I still think Penn State wins that game by a touchdown or more, but I understand why it's only 6.5.
I thought it was really amazing, the tweet from a father of a Michigan wide receiver. I'm going to be honest. I would not have handled it that well if it were my son. Would you talk about it? Because I thought it was pretty admirable.
Sure. This, as you saw the end of the Michigan-Penn State game, you saw Michigan had a chance to come back and tie the game in the final seconds. And Ronnie Bell, who had an excellent game thus far for Michigan, drops a pass in the end zone on 4th and goal. He had 5 catches for 82 yards. He was one of the major reasons they got back into the game. But he got, of course, he got some big-time criticism from fans on social media and a lot of hate for the drop. But no one took it harder than him. You saw him on the field on the sideline, after the game, crying. So his father, Alan Bell, shares a message from I can't say for certain, but I'm assuming it's a Michigan student saying, actually, the student is a former Michigan student saying, to please quit the team and send you're a bum, go play basketball somewhere. And the guy sent it to Ronnie Bell on a Michigan or an email. So with his real name, his email, all his information, which is completely dumb if you're going to do something this is awful thing to do in the first place, but if you're going to do it and you send it with your own email, you're asking for trouble. You just hold on to the message. And the overall sentiment here is there is absolutely no reason to reach out directly and criticize and say nasty things to a player for making a mistake in a game. You could be disappointed that it happened. You could be upset that your team lost, but nobody's more upset than that player is, and you're getting nothing out of it by doing this. Like, what do you just say? Like, oh, that'll show them because I sent a message. It's one of the sad parts about, this was always part of sports. with fans saying stuff to guys and sending hate mail and things like that. But I think the immediacy of it with social media and email and things like that today, it's just it makes things a little worse.
Matt joins us each and every week from thespun.com. Matt, I have said to you multiple times on this segment with you, I expect Urban Meyer back coaching. Now he's made some comments about the Cowboys job that made people think I may be right. Tell him about it.
Well, I just want to add one quick thing off that last segment. Ronnie Bell's father invited the guy who sent lunch, to send that email to meet him for lunch. So I think that was extremely classy on his part. Getting to Urban Meyer now, obviously he's been asked about different jobs, and they keep trying to ask him about the Michigan job when he's on the Fox pregame show, and he's been coy about that. But Colin Cowherd had him on the Herd last week, and he spoke about the Dallas Cowboys and said, a lot of people were saying Lincoln Riley would take that job, and that's who Jerry Jones should hire if Jason Garrett's gone. And Urban Meyer said, absolutely, I would consider that job, absolutely. And it raised eyebrows for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously, it confirmed what people are thinking, that it's only a matter of time before he comes back to back to the coaching game. And number two, it's accepted, it's just one of the unwritten rules that don't talk about a coaching job when someone already has it, when someone's there. When they get fired, they step down, and it's open.
Matt, we lost you for a minute. There you go.
I said it's accepted, unwritten rules. If you're a coach, you do not talk about another coaching job if it's still occupied. If the coach gets fired, if the guy steps down, and it's open, you can campaign for the job. You can comment on it. It's open season.
Let me tell you how I found out about your report. You want to hear about this one?
Sure.
And I'll tell you who it was off air. I got a message from a head coach who linked me to your thing because he's heard you on this show, so he follows you. And he goes, and I'm going to change it to a female feminine hygiene product. He goes, why would Urban comment when Jason still's got the job? Isn't that funny? I heard it from a head coach.
That is hilarious. And that's the type of thing that coaches take notice of, because it's poor form for him to say he would consider that job flat out like that. Because the correct answer, and sure, it's a PC answer, but it's by the book in terms of the coaching profession. The correct answer would have been, hey, listen, Jason Garrett's got that job. They're in the playoff hunt. He's been there a long time. I can't really speculate on that at this time. Something like that.
Conference USA announces a punishment for Lane Kiffin. God bless Lane Kiffin. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin on Saturday night tweeted a meme of the blind referee with the referees with walking around with canes and seeing eye dogs, and obviously you knew it was a matter of time before he was going to get punished for it, and he got a $5,000 fine to Conference USA and a formal reprimand for it. And listen, this was classic Lane Kiffin. You knew he was going to get in trouble for it. You knew it was going to be an issue, and he did it anyway. And he got everyone talking about him, talking about his program. It's just, it is who Lane Kiffin is.
Another thing I love about Urban Meyer being on TV is he's not afraid to hold back. What'd you think of his epic rant about the college football playoff?
Yeah, I think Urban Meyer's been really good on the Fox pregame show this year. And he had a lot of opinions about the college football playoff. He did say the committee does a good job, but he said it's an imperfect system, and he gave a detailed explanation on how he would fix things. He says you have to go, in his eyes, go home and home with another major opponent. You have to play at least 9 conference games, which most leagues do at this point, but not all of them. I think the ACC does 8. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure if there's any others that do 8. He wants to get rid of the eye test and get a point system that rewards teams for wins against top 25, top 10, top 5 teams. So he wants to kind of sharpen up the criteria for the college football committee. I thought some of those ideas are really interesting to take a look at. And I think some of them would make for, a fun way to kind of change this process up a little bit and streamline things.
That's right. The great Matt Halatic from thespun.com. I love Jalen Hurts. And once again, we saw him celebrating a win in Alabama, their win over Tennessee. Talk about that one.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, you could tell, even though he left Alabama, there's a lot of, love. He still has his own program and the players there. And, it's been a tradition for decades, Alabama, Tennessee, the winning team and the winning team's fans get to have cigars after the game. And Alabama's now won 13 in a row. And after the game, there was a video on social media of Jalen Hurts having a victory cigar to celebrate Alabama beating Tennessee on Saturday night. So I thought that was really cool of him to kind of shout out his former program in that manner. And I'm still hoping for Alabama-Oklahoma college football playoff matchup.
I agree. What'd you think? By the way, a few years ago, this started with game day going to really unique places, 1AA's places. I'm really excited about game day this weekend.
I thought that, I said this in my post, I thought that if Wisconsin had beaten Illinois, which stun me if they didn't, but great win for Lovie Smith, I thought that game day would have been in Columbus for Ohio State, Wisconsin, because you would have had a top 5 team against the number 16 in the country, 17, whatever, and it would have been 2 undefeated, Big Ten traditional programs. Now that they lost, I think it's a great decision by game day to go to Brookings, South Dakota, for the Dakota North games, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. The two teams they play every year, 2 of the powerhouses in the FCS level. They met last year in the FCS semifinals. North Dakota State's won 7 national titles. I think it's an awesome decision. And like I said, Ohio State, Wisconsin lost some of its luster with that Wisconsin loss. Plus, you have to bank on the fact game day's probably going to Ohio State for the Penn State game next month. Game day has just been the Death Valley for LSU, Florida, so they're not going to go there for Auburn, LSU. Michigan, Notre Dame, traditional rivalry in prime time, but doesn't have the same juice with Michigan having 2 losses. I think this is a great decision. I'm really excited to see what the crowd is like on Saturday, because Reese Davis even made a point to say it's not a long drive from North Dakota State to get to South Dakota State, Brookings. So you have a lot of North Dakota State fans there as well.
What'd you think of Nick Saban's statement on Tua?
I think that it's a smart decision. He already came out and said he had the tightrope surgery on, his injured ankle after the game the day, and he said he's going to be out for the Arkansas game. I think that's, like I said, it's a wise decision. You want to make sure he's 100% healthy. Alabama should be able to handle Arkansas with Mac Jones next week. And then you have to go. They have a bye on November 2nd, so they get some extra time to get healthy as a team, and especially for Tua to get healthy. And then they have LSU on November 9th. The entire season, the trajectory of the season comes down to that game. I think Alabama will be favored, obviously, but this is the best LSU team in several years. So I think you have to get him healthy for that game, or as healthy as possible for that game.
All right, you guys released your 3 coaches on the hot seat. I found it fascinating. You got Jim Harbaugh, Kevin Sumlin of Arizona, and Jeremy Pruitt of Tennessee. Please discuss.
Yeah, and listen, every week that we've talked about Harbaugh being on the hot seat, we're not saying he's getting fired. And we've said it on this show before, you and I, we don't think he's getting fired. We don't think he should be fired. We think that he's still Michigan's best option. However, the more losses they have in the regular season, especially against top 10 teams and in big games, the more it makes me think that Harbaugh could himself look to get back to the professional level and say, listen, I did all I could in Michigan, but I want to try my hand at the NFL again. Arizona, listen, they looked like they would turn the corner a little bit earlier in the season, but they got absolutely smoked by USC on Saturday night. There's now the issue of Khalil Tate going from one of the most dynamic players in the country to struggling under Sumlin. It's not been. I thought that was a good hire on paper when they hired him away from, not away from A&M, but after he lost the job at A&M. But it has not worked out there in the desert. It's been the complete opposite of what Herm Edwards has been at Arizona State, and I think the pressure's mounting for him at Arizona. Jeremy Pruitt, he's only 7-12 in a season plus at Tennessee. No one's going to kill him just yet for losing again to Alabama. I think a lot of people were upset with the moment on the sideline he had where he was in the face of Garrett, his quarterback. And we've talked about in the past the rumors about Phil Fulmer maybe wanting to come back and coach or get involved. Peyton Manning maybe looking to find a new coach for Tennessee, and the pressure is on for him. They're 2-5. They're probably going to miss a bowl game again, but how he finishes this season might determine if he gets a third one.
All right, I want to ask you a question, though. Do you think Jeremy Pruitt's done?
Do I think he's done? I think it's only a matter of time, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's done a very good job at all. He is the one, the only Matt Halatic from the Spun.com. Halatic from the Spun.com. Halatic from the